Richard Dolan is the Joint Managing Director of Beck Hardy Wines and the purveyor of some fine product, if I do say so myself. He joins me now. Richard, this is obviously good news for the billions of dollars of exports that were crippled by this punitive tariff. You were at a briefing today in South Australia for South Australian winemakers like yourself from McLaren Vale and Barossa, Clare, etc., by the Department of Trade and Investment. What did you find out today?
Yeah, thanks, Caleb, and good afternoon to you and your viewers. The delegation that the Premier of South Australia led just a couple of weeks ago into mainland China, we visited Beijing, Shanghai, Jinan, and today's briefing was an opportunity for those of us that were on that delegation to feed back to colleagues in the South Australian wine industry about discussions that were had, quite senior discussions. The Premier led probably the most senior delegation to leave the state, certainly in over a decade that I've been involved in the export industry here. And it's fair to say that Premier moved the needle and built on the work that's been done since the election of the federal Labor government. Great work being done by Minister Wong and Minister Farrell, and certainly the Premier backing that up as well. And we're looking forward. It's another small step. The diplomacy and the diplomats are engaging on both sides. And fingers crossed, we hope for some positive news soon.
So obviously the suggestion that it could come within weeks, and this seems to be backgrounding that's coming from both the feds here and also from China. When you were in China a month or so ago, was there a feeling at that time that that decision was imminent, or is it perhaps something that's come along in recent weeks, post the release of Cheng Lei, for instance?
Look, certainly the progress has been made over the last 18 months. I think prior to the election of the Prime Minister Albanese's government, the contact at the diplomatic and political level was minimal. Over the last 18 months, there's been a lot of engagement. And it's fair to say that the people-to-people links, the business-to-business links are still very, very strong. There's a desire from Chinese consumers still for premium food and beverage, particularly from the great state of South Australia. And look, I think it's a matter of time, but certainly nobody. We were talking to the diplomats in Beijing, and certainly nobody there could give us a window as to when it could be done, because I don't think even they know at this stage. It's about really the diplomats on both sides engaging, coming to a resolution, and hopefully we all move on positively and progressively from there.
Export has been a large part of your business for some time. Just give us a bit of a picture. When these tariffs came in with China, how much of an impact did that have on your business, and how much of that were you able to make up by finding other markets?
Yeah, look, I mean, for us, it was a fairly unique situation. My wife and I actually executed a long-planned family succession plan in 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, shortly before the China tariffs came off. So fortunately, we had a plan to execute for other markets, as well as continuing that piece in China. That didn't come off, so it actually allowed us to diverse resource. But, we've got some great business going in the US, Indonesia. A lot of people are always surprised to hear that Indonesia is actually our third largest market, but certainly Canada and North America have sucked up a fair bit of what we were doing. But, there's an impact here across regional Australia, South Australia particularly. We produce 50% of the total wine production in the country. 80% of all premium wine comes from SA. And, this has impacted regional and rural Australia, greatly. And, we're seeing that still. In South Australia, your export puts over 60,000 meals on the table in an evening. And wine was previously, along with education and copper from time to time, vying for that number one position in the exports from SA. So any change to, a major market, be it China, US, UK, obviously has an impact.
Indeed. Richard, we'll have to catch up for a drink soon. Thank you for your time, mate.
Look forward to it.